Good day all and welcome to Obidati Family TV. The program na Hope Alive. Yes, hope day. Plenty hope day myself, no be small one. This time we dey come with plenty things wey be say it dey happen about this very rogue judgment wey be say Justice Tsammani and im team bring carry come. We dey bring am this time make citizens and well-meaning Nigerians make dem understand say the constitution of Nigeria no be only for justices na make am for or for judges na dey make the constitution for every Nigerians and e dey accessible, meaning say we fit read and we fit understand wetin dey inside. So from there we go comot make we dey expose how this very judgment dey very rogue wey we dey call rogue judgment. So and with that one we wan talk about how Chicago CBS News dey hot, very hot on Tinubu certificate forgery issues as the thing dey hit for US. E dey hit everywhere. Thanks to all well-meaning obedience. I greet una again. Una good morning, afternoon and evening. Wherever una dey, better thing dey come this time around, and plenty other things wey we wan talk concerning the 25% for that Abuja since 1979 wey dem dey talk about Shagari, all the mistakes and all those things. We wan open am make we expose am say this judgment e dey very rogue. And no be only me dey talk this thing for studio or go discuss am for the conversation. No be only me. I get Angel for studio, I get Esther, I get Princess, plus our own UC Maxwell wey dey for Zoom wey go help us do the legal analysis wey be say we wan carry come.
Good day, my well-meaning Nigerians, my lovely and obedient worldwide. Welcome. Tell your neighbor say hope day. Nigerians must keep hope alive with courage. As citizens of these resilient nations, we must not give up, even in the midst of hunger, starvation and oppression, crime and corruption, and hopelessness. We must not give up. Welcome on board. Let's discuss. Today, now our own Chimamanda Adichie's birthday. Happy birthday to her. Long life, more good life, prosperity. We ask God to bless her more and more. Our obedient, shout out to her. Welcome on board. Let's discuss.
Yes, so my wonderful, obedient, and well-meaning Nigerians, and welcome to another show of Hope Alive. My people, we are still on this journey of a new Nigeria. To all those who may feel down, know that it's after rainfall, the sun will shine. So never you give up, never feel frustrated, never ever give up, because that is what the system wants us to do. We shall continue to keep our head high and shoulder up. Welcome and join us.
Good day to all well-meaning Nigerians and fellow obedient worldwide. Welcome to Hope Alive. No matter how they want to dissuade us and make us lose hope, let us be in collective spirit as we uphold our hope, as we hope that they will actually give us the right ruling this time in Supreme Court and also in US Court. So welcome as we discuss.
Yes, welcome to this very conversation where we dey talk say make we discuss. It is very important. Make we begin to expose this very judgment where we say Tsammani and the team bring in. We dey call and say na rogue judgment. We go soon expose all the things wey be said and talk, even for that forfeiture issue. We will dive into that. But before we go, I want to bring something for now where we dey call the mischief rule of that very 25% of Abuja where they talk. And the person wey be say send them na Ekenesia Nugo wey be say na person wey be say him be well-meaning Nigeria, and then talk say make I share am with obedience, make everybody see how that very particular 25% how them take mismanage them, how them take miscalculate them, and how them take use them since 1979. Now make we begin to look inside the waiting in send come for us. He say after the 1979 presidential election, Awolowo took Shagari to court because Shagari won 25% in 12 states out of 19 states. He had then. Short of 25% into 3rd of the 19 states they had as at that time. Awolowo's lawyers argued that 25% in 19 states means 12 states plus 1, because an entity like a state or human being could not be a fraction or decimalized There is no 0.3 states or 0.66 states. Now, since 2/3 of 19 states is 12.66, Shagari's lawyers argued that Shagari won 19.94% in Kanu, that the mass was 12 states plus 0.66 states equals to 12.66. To the dismay of educated and well-informed Nigerians, as the Supreme Court ruled for Shagari. That's one. The framers of the 1999 Constitution had the 1979 election in mind because they decided to make sure it never happened again. The mischief rule requires the court to look to what the law was before the legislation was passed in order to discover what gap or mischief the legislation was intended to cover. Any judge or lawyer who studied the 1979 election challenge debacle should know that the 1999 framers could not have meant conjunctive 2/3 in 36 states and FCT, because 2/3 of 37 is equal to 24.66, which will take us back to Awolowo versus Shagari of 1979. Now, one of the factors that gave rise to Awolowo versus Shagari of 1979 was that there was 5 major presidential candidates in the 1979 elections that led to split votes in many states. It made it difficult for a candidate to garner 25% in a state. The thoughtful 1999 framers anticipated a similar situation in the future. Also, they knew a 2023 might occur where a 37% of Bola Tinubu could be elected without the majority of popularity of votes cast. In fact, Shagari scored 33.77% of the total votes. Now, law does not cure everything, no matter how hard the framers try. Laws put together in a hurry, as the 1999 Constitution was done, fare worse. However, to make sure that 1979 does not repeat and that we have a president elected with 50% plus votes, the 1999 framers tried to cure them in the following. 1. Section 134, subsection 2 says that a candidate for election to the office of the president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there have been more than 2 candidates for the election. A, he has the highest number of votes cast at the election, and B, he has not less than 1/4 of the votes cast at the election, each of at least 2/3 of the states in the federation and the federal capital territory, Abuja. Now, so section 134(2) was supposed to cure 1979 because we had 36 states plus FCT Abuja. Also, it was supposed to make it less likely for a 37% candidate to become president. For the confirmation, look at the preceding subsection. Subsection 134, section 134, subsection 1 says, a candidate for an election to the office of president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there have been only 2 candidates for the election. He has the majority of the votes cast at the election. Remark, understand that he said he has the majority of votes cast at the election. And B, he has not less than 1/4 of the votes cast at the election in each of the list of the 2/3 of the states in the federation and the federal capital territory, Abuja. Section 134, subsection 2 was to force us to section 134(1), that is the popular president. Now, he says, finally, on another note, just like I've said, I want to point out that the Nigerian Constitution is sexist, patriarchal, unjust, insufficient, impracticable in many places, and should be amended as soon as possible. If Princess Chichi Oje of Allied People's Movement had won the election, or if she had come second and was mounting a serious court challenge against Tinubu, as Atiku and Peter Obi are doing, Tinubu's lawyers will argue that she should be disqualified by virtue of section 134(2)A and B. Each starts with he, and Princess Oje is a she, and this tainted Presidential Election Petition Tribunal will side with them. Now, back to what we are saying. Finally, we go back to the amendment of the Constitution. And we have said a much lot. But the last thing that we said here by Ekene is that the Constitution continuously, at that section we pointed out, like says a he and a he in those two subsections. Now, if another of these things occur in the years to come, we will remember that Mr. Kanu of Obidati Family TV said here, an amendment should be made to include he or she, because a woman has the capacity to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Come back to studio. We have our own people here, and let me get to Maxwell on Zoom, because as legal analyst, make you hold me blow hot for this thing as it happen before we go enter to other things where we say he join the rogue judgment where they give us. We go bring them out. Maxwell, I hope you are there.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for this particular program today. So, in order to discuss these views about the FCT and the mischief that framers of the 1999 Constitution tried to cure, it is very necessary for us to consider the difference between the 1979 Constitution and the 1999 Constitution. Now, if you look at the two documents, you would notice very well that there was no mention of an FCT in the 1979 document. Now, in that 1979 Constitution, the position or the territory called the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, already existed. It was already a location that was recognized by our laws. But that provision under the 1979 Constitution refused to recognize that there is a need to get 1/3, 1/4, that is 25% from FCT. And you see, the thing is, people need to understand that there is a difference between what the law ought to be and what the law actually is. Some people may feel that the requirement to get 25% in Abuja is unjust. They may think that it is not a good law. But those particular views are only coming from what the law ought to be. But we need to ask ourselves, what is the law currently? The law states under Section 134 that you have to get 25% in 24 states, and the FCT, that is 2/3. By mathematical computation, if you look at the fraction that is left, that is, if you calculate Abuja as part of the 36 states, making it 37 states, like Justice Tsammani and the Justice of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal tried to do, if you do 2/3 of 37 states, you'd be getting 24.60 something. Now you would see that even by mathematical computation, 24.60 something means you need to do a roundup. You round the 60 something and add it as 1 to 24 to make it 25. And in previous interpretations of the court, there have not been any time where the court held that you need to get at least 25 states. It has always been the fact that you need to get 2/3 majority, which is 24 states. You see, these are some of the debacles. These are some of the problems that we've had with the 1999 Constitution. While I agree that we need to amend the document, but let us give the document its actual interpretation. Now, by rules of interpretation in the Nigerian law, it says that you should first of all interpret the provisions of the law with the literal rule of interpretation. Literal means to give a word its normal meaning, its literal meaning, without going into the reasons or not why the law was made. When you look at the literal interpretation of it, the provision of a and that distinguishes something shows you that that second thing becomes inclusive, and it's in its inclusiveness, it is still distinct even when it is included. It is for, let me give you an example. When you need to write WAEC and they say that you must pass 5 subjects and English and mathematics and English. It shows you that English is included in the total that you need to pass. And even though it is included, you must pass it. In its inclusiveness, it is still special. It is still distinct in the sense that you must pass it. And this is the sense for which this law was created. Because after the problem happened between Awolowo and Shagari, the court was faced with a lot of challenges. In fact, a lot of people criticize the judgment in Awolowo versus Shagari as being an attempt to actually misinterpret the law. And the lawmakers decided to amend this law, and the military came up with this document with a proper interpretation, or with a proper section that actually, when you look at other provisions, and the fact that this section is distinct from every other provision, the court, in trying to actually show us that it is giving us a good interpretation, went into the business of referring to section 299 of the Constitution and other sections, which is not in the same chapter with section 134 of the 1999 Constitution. So it becomes very important, very, very important. Ask yourself, in all the various states where a person needs to win, need to win the seat of governor, is there any place where they provided for that the person must win 25% and the capital of that state? Is there any provision of such nature? So, because of it appears for the presidential and the federal, it shows you that there is a specialness in it. There is a specialty, there is a reason why that section was created. Not just for it to be there for fancy. If the framers of that constitution intended for that particular provision to be included, what it would have simply done was to state that a person needed to get 25% in all the territories of the Federal Capital Territory. Every state is a territory within the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But, you know, or they would have used the word all the states inclusive of the FCT. But it is very clear, and we've seen a total misinterpretation, in my view, of the provision.
All right. Thank you very much, Maxwell. Not the only misinterpretation, but we will talk about the rogue judgment itself by Justice Tsammani. And make people for understand, say, we need to criticize what is wrong. And this very case where they talk, never waka enter appeal. In any case, I think that in the screen now, we can understand when I'm talking about a rogue judgment. But for the purposes of clarity, let me say it, that a rogue judgment typically refers to a judgment or a decision made by a court or a judge that is considered unconventional, unexpected, or deviates from established legal principle or none. It suggests that the judgment may be perceived as unorthodox, biased, or even unjust. Now, having said that one, make I come back to studio, because the people who follow me for studio, now women they me around, and then they talk say this thing where then they talk for this constitution, it touch them before we go back to the main issue that we are going to expose on this rogue judgment. Then talk say they won't choke their mouth, because it be like say the constitution no one make woman be president. May I start with Angel?
Yes, so because as Justice Tsammani don't rule this thing when you rule now, he don't turn the constitution upside down. Because as FCT say and, he can't turn the and upside down, cancel and go. As they no come put she or he now, that one he go cancel and pata. He no go even mention am. Because if eventually a woman come contest in the next 5 years, 10 years or 15 years, come win, and the man wey in contest with, as INEC come select this one give us now, they come select man give and say no, woman no suppose be president. Wetin go come happen? If they bring am to people wey be like Justice Tsammani now, na im be say the woman don lost. Abeg, they get so many things wey they go amend. As Justice Tsammani don know say and na big English wey in dey. Okay, make we dey write am small for small English wey im go know. So far they include he or she inside. At least Make the Kukuma give us a chance now. Abi we no deserve chance.
We do.
Yes, I know say this one gonna go on make them blow them out of proportion, but we not get much time. We won't go to the rogue judgment, but I know say waiting angel talk jail, because for inside the constitution they just talk A, he must have this, B, they say he must have this. You understand? And if a she now come up, no be say they no go interpret and say he go mean she, but a rogue judgment if he come out again. You understand? Now be the point where would they try to bring, abi?
Yes.
Okay. Make we for come out enter another side of the rogue judgment. That one, make we enter page 147 of Justice Tsammani's judgments. Make we dey expose how these people live, wetin they supposed do, and wetin Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar's petition, then come carry and they go some place where we say, you know, even they here, they very, very far. So make we go and see how they take interpret them, make it a position and for screen, make them for see them. Make you put the other one where we say go show the page where this place, where this thing come out from. That is the for future issues now we want start to deal with specifically those sections where we say they misinterpret where they say they misinterpret this one where they roll for screen now. I want just make I show and I say now for now from that page 147 now they come out from. That's why I say make the thing for roll. Make una see say na the judgment where we say if they come out from Justice Haruna. As they do this thing now, when you reach the side, you go see say from the pleadings, the evidence adduced, and the submissions of counsel of the parties, they say it is my considered view. I am quoting Justice Haruna Tsammani. And I want to show how this is a rogue judgment. He said, it is my considered view that the following are the issues which will effectively determine this petition. He said, number one, whether having regard to the provision of Section 137 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, Section 135 of Electoral Act 2022, and the Evidence Act before the court, the second and the third respondent were qualified to contest the presidential election of 25 February 2023. Now, I want to make you go for that very place, make you show us that place where you mark green and red, where we say I read. Make una see this section. Now, from that particular page where the judgment now would they come out, and it gets something where we want exposed for here. This very particular section we will now take you to what the determination is. He said from the present evidence adduced and submission of counsel, it's his considered view that the following are the issues which will effectively determine the petition. Now, what are those issues? Issue number one, where we want to treat here for feature. Let's go to that very section of the Constitution. Make I show now how Tsammani and his own members will be saying a committee, I've been waiting they call them, how they take come out from waiting Constitution talk. Now, what they did is that in this section 137, they went and expanded on it, everything, because when you want a key feature of a rogue judgment is that the adjudicator would usually frame the wrong issues for determination. So what they did is that they framed wrong issues for determination. This section 137 is very broad, but I want to expose to you now that this section has D and has E, and in this very D that I will read out, it has different things that when you commit, you cannot become the president of Nigeria. This D says, he is under a sentence of death imposed by any competent court of law or tribunal in Nigeria, or a sentence of imprisonment. Make una listen again. D, because now something I won't bring out. He is under a sentence of death imposed by any competent court of law. We did not see any place that Tinubu had any issue of death imposed on him by any court of law. There's another one, they say, or tribunal in Nigeria. That one, another section of itself, is telling you, because the other one says court of law. Then he wants to broaden it, it says tribunal in Nigeria. Then it has another, or a sentence of imprisonment or fine for any offense involving dishonesty or fraud by whatever name called. It's on your screen now on red. I hope my audio is perfect. I want an understanding. This one that is cycle red, before it is or, it is not and. If they did not add anything like say, these things must go together, all of them must go together. No. They say or. So, the fine for any offense involving dishonesty or fraud by whatever name called is a different thing entirely. That you must not have to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But what they did is that Tsammani and his cohorts, if I may call them by that, they turned this, they expanded on Section 137 broadly. They went to that very place and then thereby giving the court a leeway to bring Section 137 IE requiring conviction. This very particular one that is cycled on red does not require any sort of conviction. What it required is just for a fine for an offense involving dishonesty or fraud, or by whatever name they want to call it, which is what happened in the United States of America against Bola Tinubu. Now, let me reframe you so that you understand. This constitution we are talking about, some people do ask, is Mr. Kanu a lawyer? I've been a justice of Supreme Court. I've been. No, when they make mistake, for people will be said and they ask me those questions. The thing they say, Nigeria constitution a public document. And the framers will write constitution, they make and they very easy to read and understood. But people will be saying they want on judgments to something else, then go misinterpret them. So as we they enter Supreme Court, I want make on also check for people where there's comment section, make on check whether waiting at the talk that or whether they together with the other one will require conviction or not. When if you make on a comment, meanwhile make I go to our legal analyst where we say a day for Zoom. Maxwell, I beg, whether you share this my opinion, make people for maybe follow understand say conviction no follow for this very section where they separate.
Mr. Kanu, the thing we say, all these things where they talk, now waiting we don't the highlight since for so many places where we they get discussions and conversations around this judgment. See, Mr. Kanu, it they pain my heart where we say this kind of thing they happen for this kind of time. Where we say Nigerians they hungry for justice. Where Nigerians they hungry to see the judiciary redeem itself, to give them the courage and the trust where they've been get before for judiciary. Make I tell you this thing a deliberate attempt. If you see the case of AC versus INEC, where the court hold, the court made reference directly to the provisions of section 137, subsection 1, paragraph I. But when the court they write in own judgment, they no put that I there because they know say that particular I no be where the petitioners base their arguments on. The same thing happened for section 134, subsection 1, paragraph D. Now there the petitioners base their argument upon, because paragraph D no provide for any 10 years period for which person no fit bring in case. But wetin Justice Tsammani and im fellow justices can't do be say, instead of them to refer to section 137, subsection 1, paragraph D, they can't carry the whole section 137 take dey determine the issue. That one come make them join paragraph E with paragraph D take decide the matter. This one a truly roguish judgment. Now the word wey you don't use wey correct be that. Another thing why I want make you know be say, every item wey dey listed under section 137 sub 1, all of them na standalone issue. All of them. It means say when something dey standalone, it means say if any of them exist, it dey enough to disqualify person from being president for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it means say you no need to get subsection 1, paragraph I, paragraph A, B, C, D. No. You only need one. And the petitioners, when they argue their case, they can't choose paragraph D, wey provide for the main case where they want advance. They can't go the judgments when they give their judgment, because of say they get ulterior motives from wetin we dey see from this case. Because for people like us, I don't talk am plenty times say if we see through, we will talk am. This thing where these courts do, it no make sense. No be correct judgments be this. They go join paragraph D, carry paragraph E, where can create 10 years period where they no fit disqualify person, can carry and join inside. But the petitioner's case was never on paragraph E. So these are the problems. Where the court refuses to do the necessary thing to deliver judgment, they go and look for the technicalities. When a petitioner brings a direct issue to the court, and the court goes ahead to make it broad, instead of dealing with the issue as direct as it is a rogue judgment. And such judgment will always materialize to, advance injustice and technicalities. And now what would they see? Say no be only for this one where they do this thing. They do them too for the provisions of
Maxwell, are you there? The network don't carry you come out. Okay.
You dey hear me?
Like say Nigeria don't have. Okay, I can hear you now. Yes, continue, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. I get some kind of interruption. So they do the same thing when they discuss about electronic upload. When the petitioners carry their case go court about electronic upload, they base their case on section 60 sub 6, section 47, section 64 sub 4, and then that is of the Electoral Act. Then they can also base them on clause 38 and clause 48 of the regulation and guidelines. They can still base them again for paragraph 2.9.0 for the manuals for officials. But when the court won't determine the issue, instead of the court to look at these particular provisions where they don't carry this case come, the court can go, they bring paragraph 93 or paragraph 92, different things will not concern this judgment. So now the problem be that the court refused to do its job diligently and decided to misdirect itself, and went ahead to make several errors in interpretation of the laws. So I believe say the Supreme Court will get better eyes to take look this matter well. Because you see say good say all of us they talk about them now. All of us they see the mistake. Now one of the things why they shout say any judgments where they come out from court, citizens supposed to they check the judgment, they read them, they criticize the judgments. Even the media too, they supposed follow, they do all these things, so that we feel make our system, our justice system, they solid. So that when the court case go higher court, we go know what thing they supposed give us as justice. So it good say we they reason all this matter, and we don't see say truly these judgments, a lot of rogue issue, a lot of mago, a lot of hanky panky. They
Okay. Now, when we say I don't understand, so when we they talk about rogue judgment, we get a reason where we they talk or we they call them rogue judgment, because when person don't live where it's supposed, then you go come reframe another place. Rogue judgment be that very one. Okay, make we they come out as Maxwell take talk say media go help. We see say Chicago State waiting the CBS News. Where they for Chicago, don't they report waiting they happen, and we don't see many other international media don't begin to take up this very particular issue. That one, we say we toilet them well as in they do better thing. Some people they even report the thing wrongly myself. Then go forget say we go fish show obedience and well-meaning Nigerians say see waiting then they talk koro say waiting they happen they wrong. Now that one now from America they come out. So no be the one where we say for our place here where they see whether the Tribune go report another thing. Like all of the media, the print media when I see, they no report them the day where all these things happen. Now 2 days after, when they don't pay them to come out and take one title where they show say now another thing and they happen for US. But God passed them as we they show the thing that happen. Now another media where we say I like as they take talk the thing well now Arise TV.
Yes.
And Arise TV the way where they take even bring them out, one go no say yes something there wrong. If something some people they talk say no comment for matter where they for court. Now for US and they do the court, you understand, no be anything, and even their own media they carry the thing.
Yes.
So anyway, make we see how Arise TV take carry that very thing, and how they even take talk about that classmates where they make jest of himself, where talk say na Duro Jaye Abina waiting again be named. But anyway, we hear say the man say make we calm down, say Ingo talk. We dey wait for that talk when you talk from the source, make we dey still dey hear. Whether na for the for TVC you won't go back, go talk no problem. But anyway, make we hear as Arise News take talk, and kudos to them and credit.
Affairs analyst Duro Jaye Ogunsoya was trending on Wednesday after he stated during a live television interview that he was a classmate of President Bola Tinubu at the Chicago State University and graduated alongside the president from the Department of Accounting and Business Administration in 1979. Well, during the interview, Ogunsoya accused those disputing Tinubu's academic records of being mischievous because Tinubu was a governor for 8 years and would have had a university degree. Well, all right. I mean, I don't know if you need a university degree to be a governor, but certainly you do need one to, work at Mobile. So, I mean, Mr. Ogunsoya has definitely caused a lot of reactions as well. Let me take one from Leoma, who wrote, "It's been 23 years since Tinubu's Chicago qualifications were first challenged, and suddenly Duro Jaye Ogunsoya, a public affairs analyst with no digital footprint, suddenly remembers he attended school with Tinubu and used to mock his accent." Well, Nigeria is a funny place. Another Twitter user, Raymond, goes, "A simple Google search of Duro Jaye Ogunsoya shows that this man didn't exist till 2 days ago. No LinkedIn, Facebook, or even Chicago State University link outside his ambiguous claims. Do these clowns think this is the 1980s or 1990s? Information is everywhere and accessible." Well, Raymond, I mean, he may not have a LinkedIn of, a digital footprint, and not everybody does.
Let's say he's not digitally
But that actually was the rhetoric on social media, whether or not, where did he come from?
So, and it's quite curious, Oji.
Yes.
That's the first thing that came to mind as well when I said, oh, finally someone has come out as a witness to give an interview, to not just talk about the fact that they went to university together, but even give a character witness in terms of the kind of student that he was. Now, Mr. Duro Jaye Ogunsoya can come out as a student to say what he wants to say, but we can't take that as a certificate. We can't take that as records from the university. It's good to see, people, someone come out to testify that you and I were seatmates in university. But beyond that, people have made questions, and where are the pictures? Did they not take pictures in 1979? Do we not have records again? Why is Chicago State University, not being very forthcoming with regards to information? Yes, they've said, we had to Atiku Abubakar has gone to court to try and get them to release information with regards to the educational qualifications of President Bola Tinubu. But this has to go down as one of the most controversial in terms of the credentials of a president in Nigeria. I mean, we have cases like this often, but this is quite interesting. And I think just to put the matter to rest, certificate, show us evidence of the fact that you went to university. And by the way, the fact that you worked in a certain organization doesn't mean, I'm sure some people will know of Oluyole, where they have said, so it's not Oluwole. Well, that shows I don't patronize their services. Oluyole is in Ibadan.
Where you print fake certificates.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that that's not all these things. Just give us the real. That's what Nigerians just want to know the truth. And let me go to what Professor Soyinka said, because that's why I'm quite, as a young person in Nigeria, Professor Soyinka, as a citizen, is well within his rights to decide to choose or support a particular political party. However, I believe because of his status as a statesman, a lot of people would expect that he would be he will be non-partisan to at least a very large extent. I don't know what this obsession with Mr. Peter Obi and the Labour Party and the obedience is with Professor Wole Soyinka. What really occurred? Why is he so... Don't forget that there's a first runner up in the person of Atiku Abubakar. They're not talking about him. He's the third place position who seems to go their ox such that their press statements, what is really going on? And so I just say that in terms of that, he has a right to his opinion. But I also think to paint the obedient movement, which has been praised in many ways for changing the political landscape of Nigeria in many ways, as being, just with really bad names, because in most movements, they're extremists. But you cannot base an entire movement on the extreme few and say that all of the obedience are extreme. I don't agree with that.
I know you wanted to make a comment on
I have a lot to say, Oji, that time will not permit me. That's the problem with what's trending.
Hey, yeah.
Welcome back again. At first, let us start. I think, like Ayo said, it is wrong to paint the obedient movements. There are other people of a certain political party that harass people too. In fact, I had a taste of my own. It's just because I didn't take the case up. When people from this known political party harassed me in an elevator in Transcorp Hotel in Abuja.
Sorry about that, Rufai.
I guess they harassed me in an elevator. So when people say all sorts about the obedient movement, and constantly, if you go check my social media, they are constantly casting aspersions and saying all sorts of stupid things. If it's not somebody I have a very strong mental strength.
You do, Rufai.
Yes.
You do.
Every single day I'm being abused. So when people say it's the obedient movement, we don't tell the truth in this country. And that's why the country...
a whole movement.
So that's why the country has become a grand scene of Badwe and GBT. And concerning what Professor, he has a right to say whatever he wants to say, but please, let's be balanced for the sake of God. The real Badwe in all of this election is INEC that promised something and didn't do it. The INEC that told a lot of Nigerians to come out, that we have video footages of Mr. Festus Okoye constantly coming out to say these methods will be used, and nothing was done. That's the real Badwe in this. So let's call a spade a spade. The problem is we don't like to call a spade a spade. Thirdly, because I'm here and we have to go because of time. Thirdly, as regards this Mr. Duro and this conundrum and everything, if you come out to say you went to school with somebody, you have to prove it. You came on air, there were no pictures. You came on air, there were no enough proof and everything. He has to be able to come to proof. And part of proving it also means subjecting himself to other media. So he should come to Arise probably. 15 minutes.
We're waiting.
Let's interview him. Let's ask him more questions and all of that. And I'm sure he also knows that there's a case currently going on in the court as regards, and let me go back to it, as regards a subpoena by Nauru Eba. That case has now come out to light again.
That petition that we are seeing
and that petition is out there, because some characters said all sorts of lies and shenanigans. So, you see, let's just tell the truth. The truth will set all of us free. The last time, 23 years ago, when this case came up, it was the State House of Assembly that helped quell the tide of the case. Now it's back up again. Let's just full disclosure.
I just wanted to quickly clarify that petition that was up there. It was on September 8th, a response from CSU to Atiku stating that, Tinubu did attend the Chicago State University, as well as the fact that they cannot truly confirm the, originality of his certificate because they consider it as a, one of those, how do you call it, a praise certificate of some sort. So that was that petition up there.
is that this matter of President Tinubu's academic qualification has been on the table for more than 20 years, since he was governor. Okay, why is it that when he was governor of Lagos State, nobody showed up? So this Duro Jayo or what is his name?
Come to arise, let us talk.
He was not around
come here.
over 20 years ago. And in any case, if you look at him, he looks quite younger than the president. So
you know, come to arise,
maybe it's on the basis of that David Hundeyin is now saying that this witness, this character witness, this classmate witness, is fake. Because David Hundeyin has said that, I'm sure, you know, it will be responded to by interested parties. Okay, when President Buhari was said not to have attended secondary school, he gathered his classmates. They took photographs with him in the villa.
So we don't hear, and sorry about the mix-up on the video. But we don't see the Wajue Abi had in the column, and we don't hear the one of the Wajue from Soyinka, where they talk about, and the classmate. But the important thing be say media don't they talk and even for Nigeria, media don't they talk and the thing where we want here be that one. But Labour Party don't bring out their own statements, and their own statements they're very, very clear. They said Labour Party took note of the statement that emanated from the Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, who as an institution we have the utmost respect for. He is a Nigerian whose accomplishments in the literary world is without doubt intimidating. However, we beg to disagree with his prognosis and personal opinion on the performance of our party during the 2023 general elections. The facts are before the courts, and out of respect for our judiciary, we will reserve our comments until the Supreme Court makes a final pronouncement. Me, I go stop and for here because the statement long. But the thing is about Bajue, I be waiting to talk. And that Bajue, for people when they hear Yoruba, then talk say, now the thing wey be say e no dey too good, and something wey be say no dey credible. And I know say the only thing wey we fit talk say e be Wejue, if you ask me, na INEC declaration and the INEC conduct and processes. That is what he needs to call Wejue, if that is what the meaning is. Anyway, make we waka enter see Maxwell for one side, because he gets something where in talk about one of our own wey be saying a Labour Party candidate, say that very person. People they happy before say they come out and for in seat, but now say Court of Appeal don't tell and say make him come back, can't do work where God give him. Make we hear from Maxwell. We get that tweet.
All right. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So the point here is we have several cases. Like I don't talk many times. Say waiting they happen. We say this September na month of judgment. You get many judgments where go they come out from court. And one of the judgments we don't receive recently now say the courts don't affirm the minister. I say minister, the senator where they represent Amak and Buhari Federal Constituency for Abuja, and another one again, now the one where they represent Aniocha and Oshimili Federal Constituency of Delta State. So for the one of the man where they represent for National Assembly for what's the name again? For Aniocha. In name now Mr. Ngozi Okoli. Yes, of the Labour Party. So he be say now when they carry now him been win before INEC declare am say in win. So when they come carry the matter go tribunal, they come the question in winning say sake of say they get problem, one or two problems with the primaries and one of other issues like that where they been raised for tribunal. Say the tribunal come out them from seat. So as they carry the matter go Court of Appeal on appeal, and you know say now the final bus stop be that for cases where they come out from all these state tribunals. Now in the court come hold say they no supposed come out and for seat. Say Mr. Okoli and I win the election legitimately, and say him be truly candidate of the Labour Party. So the court don't already reinstate them. So now the Labour Party man na still be the man where they represent, Oshimili and Aniocha Federal Constituency of Delta State for the National Assembly. Another one again na the one wey concern Amak and Buhari Federal Constituency, wey be say na Mrs. Ireti Kingibe for Labour Party wey win the election for Abuja. So when she win the election now, Philip Aduda wey dey represent PDP carry her go court sake of say they argue say she no win the election legitimately, say she no win all the valid votes wey dem cast for the election. But Court of Appeal don affirm her, say indeed, say she win am. So the court don affirm her, say she win am, and say make Philip Aduda, say make he relax since he don dey there for a very long time. So now our own now the tribunal, so now don't give judgment for this particular one. That is the one for Ireti Kingibe. He don't come out Philip Aduda case, and the woman too don't call on Philip Aduda, say may come, make them follow build FCT together. So we happy say the court don't already they see reason with all these cases and say that they throw away all this petition. I don't talk and hear several times say any petition with a question issue of primaries, that kind of petition no fit see the light of the day because of say issue of primary na pre-election matter wey be say person suppose institute for pre-election even before the election hold. So anybody wey carry that kind of matter they go court after they don't do the main election announce person, they wasting time. The only thing wey if you carry go court now to question the election or question disqualification grounds where they don't provide for constitution or for law. So now the updates be that way would they get. And we know say so many judgments go still come up from different angles also.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Waiting you talk go well, and we wish them well wherever all the places where we say that they represent, or make them represent well and make them look at the things for the amendment. What would they talk about? Especially King Gibas, you talk saying a woman where there for Abuja, make she know say if it be her own turn to become president, and if she no do the amendment or pursue the process now, when you reach that time, we fit get Bajue judgment. I mean a Bajue judgment. I mean no be so. So with that very one, we thank you, Maxwell, and we will enter other things. We be say it there for our table as our time don't they give us signal make we they carry they go. So Princess, she say your mother they do mwe.
Okay, I wanted to read Bro Bat's tweet about no, it is not God that gave Tinubu the power. Okay,
we have somebody who commented that it is not God that, because
that
there's a notion and understanding that is God that gave Tinubu the throne, but they forgot that some people take it by force, you understand? And the fact that it's even biblical, and also even Tinubu himself talk, so he's supposed no say, no be God gave, because he says snap it, grab it, and the rest, and run with it, you understand? So definitely it won't be God. Do we have another one so that we can go to the next that you have? I see say your mother do mwe Esther.
Okay, you get waiting I see you get news we don dey trend since 2 or 3 days now. You get one musician wey they call Mohbad. Now, this guy, I don't research what I don't do about this guy. They say on June 27th or around 27th of June this year, about 3 months ago, this guy come write petition of threat of life. They say now for screen, threat of life for properties and all that. Come write on to the inspector to police. Then when this thing come out, this guy talk so many things, say some persons are after his life and all that. Now, nothing was done. And about few days ago, the guy died. Although there was not really the thing wey cause him death, never too sure. But my concern be say, as this letter come out about 3 months ago, there was nothing the security did about it until he died. You know, say now before, if you threaten person saying, I'll I will report you go my lawyer, I'll report you go my lawyer and all that. Person fear go enter the person body, but this time around said and then get caught. No rule of law again. Justice is very, very far from the common man, and it is very, very appalling because the people that are supposed to protect us are not people exposing us to danger. There is no rule of law anywhere at all again. Yeah. Now these evildoers or this wrong judgment and rogue judgment and all that to continue to go on, continue to proceed, because impunity does not have any consequences again. Anybody can wake up and do anything. No consequences of any action again.
I feel you, Esther. I feel you. There is I think one lawyer like that tweeted something like
LP
that.
Lawyer.
LP lawyer Jibril Okuteba.
Yes.
Okay, let's showcase that. Let our people see what Jibril Okuteba has to do about the rule of law. Because if this is the way they talk about this Mohbad, now in name be that Abi.
Yes,
if to say then do waiting they supposed to do on time,
the man still might still be
never
alive.
Die.
Yes, because in cry come. Make them help and investigate.
Let's take a look at what Jibril Samuel Okuteba said that is on the screen. He said, in other climes where rule of law holds sway, merely telling someone that you will hear from my lawyers was enough to inject fear into the opponent's camp. But not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the wrongdoers dare you to go to court. Nigeria does not operate the rule of law. We spend fortunes to maintain systems we have no respect for. Courts' orders are hardly obeyed. Issue subpoenas, people circumvent it and nothing happens. Lawyers abuse processes and no consequences. What kind of system is that? Honestly, we need to have a rethink of our actions. Yes, now this very thing, Angel, you see, now it make as Esther, they take lament. Yes. If to say as they write this petition of threat to life about this one, if they say they take them serious,
the man for no die.
The man
because
for no die.
Maybe now those people where they threaten them, now then kill them. We never know. But if to say they investigate, okay, they say we were into the investigation, he can't die. At least something for come out. This na young promising guy. 27 years of age. He never go anywhere. And he gets small picking, I think, 4 months or 7 months. 5 months old with baby. A wife. It doesn't make sense. Is it only the rich that gets the justice in this country? Before they say lawyers abuse court processes. But now, justices, that them they even abuse them more.
That's because why they talk about rogue judgment.
They grease their palm. Money they inside their pocket, they judge anything where they like. They'll quote anything, say you can do anything. When it's your turn, you come and judge as you like. So what's the essence of constitution there? Because it's for you to go through the constitution and give the good judgment that will favor both the rich and the poor. Since they say court is the last hope of a common man. Is it really the last hope of a common man?
Okay, I think on a don chook on a mat for inside. 1 minute obedience on a don here. Say this very more bad will be say then they show for on our screen now. Say in don't talk before even in die. In don't write petition to authorities for Nigeria say in life they threaten. And that's why my people for studio talk say them go bring them up make on a foresee. Even that very letter see they display for screen make on a know say now a promising young man will just die. But before that time in talk the people will be say then they threaten in life. The question be say these people will right for here. Police don't arrest them, then don't question them. What investigations are going on? Well-meaning Nigerians and obedience is not about whether this person is this one or is well-meaning Nigeria. We look at where justice needs to be done and we'll talk about it. Justice needs to be had for Mohbad. And the reason why we're saying that is that he saw the need for Nigeria security agencies, especially the police, to safeguard his life. They never did. And that is what is happening to thousands of Nigerians who their life are being wasted because the country is not secure. We are moving towards a better and possible Nigeria, and that is where rule of law must prevail. With that very one, I know say our time don't give us signal. Make we carry our kaya come off for studio. But before I pass the mic, I go say everything where we talk, especially as it concern this rogue judgment from Haruna Tsammani and his cohorts, I beg make una share, make una like, make you reach other people, make them understand, say, then turn that place upside down. It dey very, very clear. Make we understand, say, we go to expose them. Each day when we come out, we go to tear that judgment apart one by one, where they make mistake, where they talk true, we will talk, say they talk true. With that one, I thank honor. Like and share. Angel.
My lovely and intelligent, obedient worldwide, my well-meaning Nigerians, INEC select president give us. They tell us make we go court because they know say they get their person for court. And the judiciary, we come the campaign say all eyes on judiciary. They say we they disturb them. Finally, that our fear now in waiting happen because the people will tell us make we go court, they don't go for back, carry money, pump them. No problem, we don't they go Supreme Court because we know say Supreme Court no go allow their integrity to be rubbed in the mud. I know say they go write their own name for good because last, it go reach everybody. Yes, if you not reach them today, 10 years to come, if you reach their children, because everything we there for this life, na turn by turn. I say, Miloko Kontoka, say na in turn. Go for judiciary, bribe them. No problem. My people, like, share, and subscribe. Make all the obedient they here. Na evangelism, as you they share them, as you they like them, as you they subscribe. Na evangelism. Na the way they tell step P2B and us say, well done work. We appreciate you. We love you. But God loves you more. Bye for now.